All right, we're about to take a journey deep inside the human body to an organ that's, way more than just the end of the line. It's this super complex, vital system that honestly doesn't get enough credit. Today, we're diving into the large intestine.
So first things first, let's talk scale. The large intestine, coiled up inside you right now, it's about 1.5 meters long. That's roughly 5 feet. I mean, that is an incredible amount of biological machinery packed into a pretty small space, right?
And that just begs the question, doesn't it? What is really going on inside those final 5 feet of your digestive journey? I can tell you it's a whole lot more than just an exit ramp. We're about to take a full tour to find out exactly what's happening. So, welcome to the gut's final frontier. A lot of people just think of the large intestine as a simple exit tube, but that's not the whole story at all. It's actually a super dynamic environment where some of the most critical final steps of digestion and absorption are happening. Okay, before we really dive in, let's get our bearings. The large intestine is, simply put, the last stop on the GI tract. Its main jobs? Well, it's all about absorbing any leftover water and electrolytes and then compacting what's left into, waste. So how is this 5-foot-long organ even organized? Let's look at the roadmap. Think of this next part as our guided tour through the actual anatomy. All right, here's the tour route. We're going to start in what I like to call the reception area. That's the cecum and its kind of mysterious sidekick, the appendix. From there, we'll hit the main highway, the colon, before we get to the waiting room and the final exit, the rectum and the anal canal. Okay, first stop, the cecum. This is a little pouch that acts as that reception area I mentioned. It's collecting all the material coming over from the small intestine. And, super important, it's guarded by something called the ileocecal valve. Think of it like a bouncer, a crucial one-way door that makes sure nothing goes back the way it came. And attached right to the cecum is the famous, and let's be honest, often misunderstood appendix. For the longest time, everyone thought it was just useless, a spare part. But we now know it's packed with lymphoid tissue. It's basically a little security outpost for your gut, playing a real role in your immune function. All right, moving on. We're now on the main highway of our tour, the colon. This is the longest stretch of the whole journey, and it's broken up into 4 distinct sections. You've got the ascending, the transverse, the descending, and then the final S-shaped part, the sigmoid colon. Now, it's actually really helpful to quickly compare the large intestine to the small one it just took over from. First off, it's way wider. It also has these unique little pouches called haustra that help mix everything up. And maybe the biggest difference? The small intestine's main job is absorbing nutrients, but the large intestine, it's all about absorbing water. And that brings us to the end of our anatomical tour, the final stops. First, you have the rectum, which is basically a temporary waiting room for waste. Once it's time, things move to the anal canal, the final exit, which is controlled by 2 really important sphincter muscles. Okay, so we've seen the map. We know the layout. Now let's talk about what actually happens along the way. We're shifting gears from anatomy, the where, to physiology, the what. And trust me, this is where the real heavy lifting happens. And the heaviest lifting of all? Without a doubt, it's water absorption. I mean, get this. Your large intestine reclaims about 1.5 liters of water every single day. It's like a highly efficient water recycling plant that's absolutely essential for keeping you hydrated. But here's the thing. You're not alone on this journey. Not even close. The colon is home to literally billions of local residents, a massive community of bacteria we call the gut flora. And these aren't invaders, okay? They are essential partners living right there with you. So what exactly are these tiny tenants doing all day? Well, their job description is pretty impressive. They ferment tough carbohydrates that our bodies can't digest on their own. They synthesize crucial vitamins. They produce some gases, and they even help neutralize acids. They are a true in-house workforce. And let's zoom in on that vitamin production for a second because it's amazing. Your gut flora are like a microscopic vitamin factory just churning out vital nutrients right inside you. We're talking about things like vitamin K, which is so important for blood clotting, plus other key B vitamins like biotin and pantothenic acid. Okay, so we've got water being absorbed, we've got bacteria hard at work, but how does everything keep moving toward the exit? Well, let's take a look at the mechanics of how it all travels. It turns out travel through the colon happens at 2 different speeds. Think of it like a local train and an express train. First, you have the slow, constant mixing movements.
Those are the haustral contractions. They're always happening, and they really help with absorption. But then, just a few times a day, these powerful waves called mass movements kick in. That's the express train, pushing everything along in bulk toward the rectum. This whole journey comes to a head in one final, really coordinated process. It's called the defecation reflex. And it's this fascinating mix of involuntary automatic signals and your own voluntary conscious control that manages the final elimination of waste. And it basically works in 3 simple steps. First, when the rectum starts to stretch, that sends a signal that it's full. Second, the internal sphincter relaxes. That's totally automatic. You don't control it. But then third, the external sphincter engages, and that one is under your conscious control. It gives you the final say in the whole process. So as our tour comes to an end, I think it's pretty clear that the large intestine is so much more than just an exit pipe, right? It's a really complex, multifunctional organ that is honestly an unsung hero for all the work it does every day. So let's talk about your tour souvenirs, the key takeaways from our journey. The large intestine is a master of absorbing water and electrolytes. It's a place for forming and storing feces. It's a bustling home for trillions of helpful bacteria. It's a vitamin factory. And it's the manager of final waste elimination. That is one incredible resume for a single organ. And all this leaves us with one final kind of mind-bending thought. If your gut bacteria are so critical, they produce vitamins you need, they help manage your internal environment, it really makes you wonder, who's really in charge here?